In this particular video, I wanted to answer a question someone had about creating graphs in section 2.1 on page 47. And so I'm looking at problem 13, which contains the ages of the Declaration of Independence signers. So I've entered in the data into StatCrunch. I did it by using the particular data on my web page and I imported it. And so there's all the data there. Now there are a couple of ways to generate this grouped set of data. One is the following. I come here to data and I can do sort, and I want to sort the data in column 1. The reason I want to sort the data in column 1 is, remember that when we do our grouped distribution table, I need to know the minimum and the maximum and to find the range. So by sorting the data, I can see now that the smallest is 27. And if I go all the way to the very end, I see that the largest number is 70. And that would allow me to figure out, well, what is the range? The other way to do it without sorting the data is to go to Stat, Summary Stat, column, and use our summary statistics that we used previously. I don't really need most of that stuff, but I'll leave it there. And I do compute. And so when I do that, I see quickly that the maximum is 70, the minimum is 27, and the range is 43. All right, well, if I know the range is 43, and the text asked us for 7 classes, I need to figure out, well, what is the width? All right, well, the width then, let's see, is going to be 43 divided by 7. And when I do that, I get 6.14. Well, since that's a decimal number, I rounded up to the closest whole number. And so if it's 6.14, I would round it up to 7. So my column width would be 7. Again, if I want to generate a graph now showing what my data would look like for a width of 7, I can do, let's see, graph, histogram. My data is in variable 1. All of that is good. Starts at. All right, starts at. Well, where should it start? It should start at the minimum, which is 27. The width we saw was 7. And let's see, anything else? Probably vertical lines. So the graph looks nice. And then compute, and let's see if it works. And so if this works, I'm looking to see. Now, part of the difficulty here is I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, this isn't quite right because, let me move this so I can see my data. My data would live on these edges. So 27 and 34 are actually part of my data. I don't want them to live on an edge. I want them to live inside. So you might say, well, what went wrong? Well, what went wrong is I need to close up this graph and redo it again. So histogram, yes, it's in column variable 1. But where I want to start it, remember, has to be less than my minimum. And since my data has no decimals, I have to go down by 0.5. And so this would be 26.5, which is under the minimum. Width is still 7. And let's get our vertical lines and compute. And so now when you look at the data, you see you've got 26.5, 33.4, 5 all the way up to 75.5. You might say, but wait, your maximum is 70. True, but remember, we're trying to make even width boxes so that my data must live in only one box inside, and it cannot live on an edge. Let's also count. Did I get 7 boxes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it is containing all of my data, and these class boundaries do have one more decimal than the data. All right, I hope this helps.